but we have a special guest, and we've actually coined her the #1 fan of the Yogi Show. How's it going, Jessica?
It's really great. Excellent.
Awesome. Thanks for being here, Jessica. So Jessica and I are returning back to Earth in the NASA ship. We're reintegrating right now from the stratosphere. We just did a nice yoga class that I led. Shame, I think it was nice. But I know Yogi Brian's meditation was amazing, and it was so good. And I was laying on the mat over there, and it was wonderful. So we're just reintegrating. So if I start to stumble over words, just know that it's not alcohol. It's Yogi Brian. It's his fault. So
it's that hypnotic post meditation
vibes. And I know, Brian and I, we talk all the time. So I know what he's doing. Like, I know what he's saying. I know what's coming, like, from the vibes. I've listened to many his meditations before, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm getting ready I'm buckling up. I'm strapping in.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Jessica, have you ever meditated with Brian before?
I have, actually, yes. Yeah, lots of YouTube meditations.
Awesome. Love that.
Awesome. Well, hopefully the live one hit different. Jessica, we're going to ask you, how did you find the show? How long have you been listening to the show for?
Since the first season.
Awesome.
Every episode.
Loyal fan.
Yeah. Number one. Okay. Favorite episode, Jessica. Favorite episode. If you have to pick one, maybe there's 3.
I don't know. I love the last one you guys did with the yoga couple. What were their names? I can't remember.
Matt and Ash. Yeah, Matt and Ash.
Yeah.
Love
so
them.
fun.
They're great. I learned so much from that episode.
I learned a ton.
Yeah. I learned so much.
Yeah. Just having the when Brian asked the relationship question. Okay, we usually have an idea. Sometimes we have an idea of what we're gonna jam on. But with the repeat guests in our the remix series that we're having now, we've had a couple other repeat guests on the episodes aren't out yet. But when Brian asked the question about relationships, I was like, I came up to the edge of my seat like, oh, this is gonna be good.
Get your little pen and paper out.
Oh yeah,
I gotta remember this. Yeah.
I was like, okay. I listened to it like 3 times, just myself, just learning from that episode. So that's the amazing thing with the guests that we have on. It's like Pedro and I learn so much from them. So it's a blessing.
Yeah. And that's really kind of like the whole point of like having the guests on. It's like, yeah, Brian and I like this is our show, right? Like we're literally the faces on the show, the literal face. However, but when we have the guests, it's like so cool. Like shamelessly, like Brian and I have done this before. Like we want to invite someone on just because we want to hear what they have to say. We just want to talk to them.
Right.
So
what would be the point of having a podcast that you can have someone on if you're not like inviting on people that you like want to talk to?
Yeah, right. Exactly. We're just like, we talked to Brian Kestic the other day. I'm like, Brian, you can just talk for the hour. Like I'm just here in the audience. I'm just here.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What was the episode that you laughed the most on?
Oh,
I don't know. I would have to like look it up. Lots of them, most of them, you guys are just always like, it's, when it's not a scripted podcast and you guys are just chatting, that's the best. It's like feel like you're in, you're like the third person in the room. It's like, that's the best.
Yeah.
Love that. Thanks for that. Thanks for that feedback.
Yeah. Thank you for that feedback.
We're going to
and also, and today, Jessica, you're the third person in the room. Jessica, y'all, if you're not on the YouTube video, Jessica has an amazing yoga studio in her home. It's incredible. Plants, altar, lights, incredible. And she's
random stacks of books.
Yeah, she has all of the books you could ever want. All the Yoga Sutras are at Jessica's house. If you're looking for them, Jessica has them at her house.
What book are you reading right now?
Oh.
I just finished. Let me grab it.
Let's see.
I just finished this book. It's not a yoga specific book. Breath by James Nestor. It's about the science of the breath. It's got like the cool like lungs.
Yeah,
I love that.
Neat. So it's like yoga adjacent, I guess. It's the science of the breath.
Give us the Cliff's Notes.
So It's about how we breathe too much. We need to breathe less. We need to have more carbon dioxide. You need more carbon dioxide in your body. That's the balance. Like your blood needs it and your body needs it. So over oxygenation isn't necessarily better for you. You need to have a better balance.
Brian,
it's like very in depth.
I see. So is it, I think I saw like a YouTube, his name sounds familiar.
Does, yeah.
Is it mainly breathing in and out through your nose and keeping your mouth closed? Does he emphasize that? I love that. Yeah.
Brian, were we just talking about that? Didn't you just say that we breathe too much? Were we just talking about that, or were I talking to somebody else about that?
Someone else, wasn't me.
Oh, okay.
You're cheating on me with
somebody else. Cool. It was some other good-looking guy.
I want to go through your phone. I'm going through your phone.
Some other guy with a nice fluffy beard and a hat. Let me go through my Rolodex of biker friends in my phone.
Yeah, the face tattoos, right? I'm sure you have a lot of
those. Brian, what book are you reading right now?
I'm reading The Letting Go, The Path of Surrender, and it's been wonderful. It's it's exactly what I need right now. And it's basically just like feeling your emotions. And because I like try all these different fucking practices, yoga, qigong, like every single practice. And then in this book, like in the intro, he's like, yeah, you might have tried like all these different practices, and it's really just feeling your emotions and sitting with it and then acknowledging it. And that's how you surrender to your emotions. I'm like, oh, cool. I should have read this book, years ago, but yeah, good book. Really good. Really good. I recommend. Pedro, what book are you reading? This is a book club episode. Right now.
We're having a book club episode. Here's the honest truth, y'all. Here's the flat honest truth. I'm not reading any book right now. I'm just not. I'm not a book person. Like I don't really like it. I just don't really like it. So I just don't really read them. I started reading a book called Walking Home. This is the only book I've read this year. It's 2021. This is just about November. And I've read one book this year. It took me 6.5 months. It's called Walking Home by Sandra Choquette. And it was the second time I read the book. And it's a story about her journey walking the Camino de Santiago. So are either of you familiar with the Camino?
No.
No? Neither? Okay, so the Camino de Santiago.
Tell me about it.
Okay, great. So the Camino de Santiago, it's a 500-mile walk across. It's a pilgrimage that you walk across the whole country of Spain. And it's a journey, and it's like a spiritual journey. It's a spiritual experience. And so people do it all at one time. It takes she did it in 30 days. Other people do it in segments where they walk for a week, and then they'll go, fly back home. And then like a year later, they'll come back and just pick up where they left off. There's all sorts of ways. People ride their bike. I just had a few friends from where I live. They just rode their bike on it because you can bike it. So anyway, so it's a spiritual journey. And she was talking about how she was going through this challenging time in her life. Like her marriage was failing. Her mom passed away. There were all these things her dad died. All these things happened. And so she always wanted to do this spiritual journey. And she did it. And I needed to reread it again, just because I was at this point in my life where I was like I guess it was like March or February when I reopened it. I was just about to do this crazy like 48-mile race. Brian, I've told you about it before, where you run 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. And I was like, I should probably have something to read in between, like while I'm like eating and drinking water and trying to stay awake and not fall asleep and all these things. I was like, I need an inspirational book to keep going, and this book was the one that I just repicked back up. But I started it right before that race, and then 5.5 months later, I finished it. So, but I stuck it out. And the book is incredible. I would highly recommend it. And the way I found that book, which is kind of cool, and I'd love to know if Jessica does this or you, Brian, because you're both yoga teachers. I was taking a restorative yoga class one time back in my hometown in Illinois, and in Aurora, and her name was Sandra, and she was leading. We'll jam on that, Jess. She was leading the class, and she was just talking about this book that she had found or whatnot, and she was reading excerpts from the book throughout the class. So it was themed, it was themed about like walking home to yourself. So she themed the class around this book, and at the end of the class, I just felt called to I think I need that book in my life, and so I got it. It was really powerful. So, but I want to know, Jessica, do you teach themed yoga classes? Are you a themer?
Occasionally, yes. That's really immersive. And I love to take a themed yoga class, especially. Because you really it takes you out of time and place, and it's its own special little encapsulated hour of your life. That's like, it's not just simple flowing through a yoga class and then peace out, gotta go.
Totally. I agree. Brian, you're a themer?
I'm a themer. Yeah, I like sprinkling some themes in there, and I really don't know what the theme is until I just filling out the class.
Yeah.
Like I've learned, like for me, I'm not a planner. So like I'll plan, like if I do a class, I'll plan like 5 or 6 meditations, different ones. Like
nice.
I might have like 5 or 6 classes that I can do, and then I'll just see where it goes.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, this is this type of meditation. So like even today, I had no clue what meditation we were going to do or where it was going to go. I'm like, we're doing this. We need to take care of ourselves first before I take care of others. I don't know if it's like the universe downloads or just feeling it.
I needed that one, bro. Thank you.
Good. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. How about you, Jessica? You needed that?
Yeah, absolutely. All the time.
Yeah. Awesome.
I could listen to that every day.
Same.
Perfect.
Same. Well, you're a patron, so you'll be able to do it whenever you want.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like for me too, it's like I get caught up with taking care of everyone else, and then I'm just burned out myself. And I feel just with talking to a lot of like healers, therapists, and yoga teachers, we're always like giving. We're teaching the class, we're giving, and it's like when do we have time to like focus on ourselves and take care of ourselves? So very important. I have to remind myself daily, like, Brian, take care of yourself first. Don't burn yourself out. Give yourself some energy.
Teaching yoga is not doing yoga.
No.
Right.
No,
Pedro said
it's
that.
not.
Yep.
We were just talking about that recently. Like if you're a yoga teacher and you think you're practicing yoga when you teach and that's your yoga, you're fooling yourself. You're fooling yourself. That's not how it goes.
Added stress. Like there's just that added. You're not able to
you're the container. You're holding the thing for everybody. No.
Yeah. If you say take a big breath in, like you're not taking a breath in, you're talking.
Exactly.
You're telling.
So it's not the same.
Yeah, you're telling people to take a deep. Exactly, Jessica. Exactly.
Yep. On point. And Jessica, what made you start yoga? Like why yoga?
So I started yoga the late 90s. And I had a friend who was from India, and he just taught me yoga back. Like I'm from rural Kentucky. So no yoga studios around. Like that wasn't a thing in 1999 in rural Kentucky. No yoga studios. But I had an Indian friend, and he taught me yoga, and I just jammed on my own yoga practice on my own for literally decades. And then last year during the pandemic, because what the fuck else was I doing? I thought I'll just get my yoga teaching certificate.
Yeah.
So it's right there.
That is behind you, that certificate. Did you do it online or in person? Congrats.
I did it online. It was supposed to be, thank you. It was supposed to be in person. But when shit hits the fan, it hits the fan, and then you just roll with it, You're like, well, we're going to do this online now. I'm like, well, okie doke. That's convenient for me. Like I can just open my laptop and take my notes and learn. And,
what was the biggest thing for your teacher training that you learned, like for your practice?
Your practice is probably the most important, like, what you do, take care of yourself first. Your yoga is the first for you, and then you're a yoga teacher.
Yeah. That's clutch. When I did this yoga teacher free ebook that I was talking about for new yoga teachers, that was like the number one thing, was like, besides just starting putting yourself out there, is like accountability to yourself. Because if you're not, and I think that goes for even if you aren't a yoga teacher, having the accountability to yourself to show up for yourself first, just like in the meditation that Brian led us through today on our class, was so powerful. Like it was right on time for me. I journaled about it this morning, that I just needed to, I'm training for these races, and I have some things I'm coming up endurance wise, and I'm training hard. My body, I can feel it within me. My body is saying, hey, we need more grounding meditation, like seated, not asana. We need seated yoga meditation. But in my mind, I'm like, my physical body's saying that, my mind's saying like, hey, you got to keep training. because this shit's coming up, in a couple weeks. Like you got to stay consistent with it. But I can feel the pull to like sit, just to sit. And so today I put 10 minutes on my insight timer, just like with the bell, and like some ocean waves. And the bell went off and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep sitting. Like, I don't need to get out of this. And all of a sudden I look, like when I decided to come out, it had been 25 total minutes. I don't know the last time. I don't know the last time I sat for 25, and
you need it.
I did. And I remember Brian saying a long time when we used to jam, when Brian was first meditating and did this like 78-day challenge, whatever it was, Brian, in a row. And, sitting down at first, like my mind, when I sat those first, like probably the first 10, it was just total garbage. It was all shit. Like I didn't get up, I didn't ride my bike, I didn't do this, all the shit. And then after I decided just to sit through that and then just sit, man, like I came out of that meditation clearer than I have in a long time. And, yeah, so just the invitation to do that, and then the affirmation from the universe in this class that we just had, to do that more, to do that more. It was really powerful. So thank you all for holding the space.
Oh, cool. I love hearing that. Thanks for sharing that, Pedro.
Yeah, no doubt, man, no doubt. So the other, I always remember Brian did his meditation one time, y'all, and he did this thing where he had these giant scissors. Brian, do you remember this meditation?
Yeah.
You still do that one?
Sometimes, yeah. I haven't done it.
Please
for a while.
do it again. Please do it again.
I need to.
So it's go ahead. You can share about it. I don't want to share your story.
No, you share it. I have a comment after that.
Okay. There's a visual. We did this, I think, on one of the events with Taz, and we did this visualization where like you're letting go of all the things that you don't need, like all the junk, and like you're letting it sink down into the earth. And then it's attached by like a string, and it's like basically like Spider-Man, like has a web of all your garbage. And like you get to take these giant scissors, like Publishers Clearinghouse, and you get to cut the string, and there goes all the shit. It just goes away. And I don't know, that one is, I still remember that was like 2 years ago, dude. And I still remember that.
Like
one.
the Big Lebowski guys.
Yeah. Hacking away. And so in any event, I always remember that one too, Brian, when you were, just starting to lead them, and now you're crushing it. Top 2 meditation podcasts like in the world.
Thank you.
So good. If you're not listening to Relax with Yogi Brian, are you even relaxed? Asking for a friend.
Yeah, put you to sleep. Got a lot of sleep meditations on there, and those have been the best. Those are the Nidra. The world needs to sleep better, so totally, put you right to sleep.
What were you gonna say, Brian, on that comment on that?
I was gonna say someone was triggered about the scissors one time. Like they're like, I just couldn't relax. Like that scared me. The scissors. I'm like, really? It was just one person, one comment on an app. But I'm like, yeah, you got to cut that shit away. Like you got to cut it away. You got to let it go.
Yeah. Maybe they just weren't ready to release.
Also,
I don't know.
Not every meditation is for you. If you listen to it and you're like, then just do another one and think, no, put that one in the category of don't listen to that one again.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like
exactly.
That,
because what I've learned is, just doing a lot of meditations and leading meditations and getting the feedback out there. There's people that think visually, so they can imagine something visually. And then some people can't imagine visually, so they think in sounds, auditory. And then other people think in like movements or shapes. So like when I do like one-on-one sessions, I just ask someone like, hey, describe your house for me. And then they'll let me know. And then I can notice like what words are they using? Are they using it like visually or auditory or like sounds or shapes? So it really is, if you're doing a meditation, it's a creative visualization and you're not able to see the visuals, maybe you hear sounds or maybe you see shapes, and because your subconscious mind doesn't talk through like how we communicate. It's all about feelings, symbols, metaphors, things like that. So anybody out there, like if you're struggling with a visualization, maybe that's not how your mind works. Maybe it's through sounds or shapes. So remember that.
I take it.
Find your jam.
Yes. Find your jam. Like you said, boom.
Yeah. Find your jam. I like in today's meditation, Brian, we did visualization. Where was it? The happiest place you've ever been, Brian? Was that what you said?
Yeah, just a happy place. Yeah, you think of a happy place or a place where you felt so safe, so secure.
Safe, yeah, safe. And
secure. Where was your happy place?
Okay, I'll share first, and then Jess, if you want to share, you can. You don't have to if you want to. So mine was the cage in Hawaii when I slept in the back of the yoga studio for 6 weeks. And that was the time when I was in transition of like, I need everything to feel secure. But in those moments, I had nothing and felt super content and secure. And by nothing, I meant like I didn't have my car. I didn't have air conditioning. I didn't have a stove. I didn't have an oven. I didn't have a microwave. I didn't have any of that stuff. I had a table, floor on a mattress, inside of a cage with some tapestries over it, and a mattress on the floor with a spigot of water by my head. That's where I slept, in the back of this yoga studio. And I learned so much about myself because I felt so safe and secure that I don't need all this other stuff to feel whole, that I can feel whole and complete at any time now that I've done this experience. And so that just reminds me that I don't need to have air conditioning. I don't need to, I mean, yeah, it's great. I mean, sure, I live in South Florida, so if I don't, I'm probably just going to leave, but but that was really powerful, and it took me back there, and I just felt like I kept feeling myself drop deeper into my yoga mat and relax more.
It.
Yeah, so that's where I went. And Jess, if you'd like to share, you can, or you can pass.
So mine was more simple and immediate. So we just got a new puppy, and she needs to like go out at night. And my husband has been doing that because it's chilly here in Wisconsin. So he like lets me sleep through the night. So I'll hear him get up with the dog. I'm like snuggled in bed, and that makes me feel just, safe, loved. Like, he's doing that for me, so I don't have to get up and freeze my ass off in the backyard while I wait for a dog to take a dump. So it's like, that feels good. It feels good to lay there and know that like somebody is, taking care of something that for you.
Yeah, shout out to Jess's husband for coming through all the points scored, finding the happy place, snuggled up in bed while he takes the dog out.
Sometimes a display of love is scooping poop.
Yeah. Action.
I accept that. That's good. I like that.
Yeah. I could dig it too,
and that's good that you got your happy places now, because now you can go back to that, whenever you need to, because it really just throughout your work day or wherever, if you're struggling, just breathe and go back to your happy place. And you'll notice like after a while, like your emotional state will change. And such a good exercise. Shout out to David Snyder, my teacher. He taught me that. I always give him love. I mean, I changed up the variation, but he is my teacher. Love that guy.
And he'll be back on the show soon, y'all. He was on the show in season 1. But he'll be back on the show soon. David Snyder was so cool, man. I remember, Brian, I'm gonna reflect on David Snyder for a moment. I remember when he led us through a meditation. I was I was once again off to the cosmos, and he was looking at the camera. Pedro, come back. You got to come back here. like flag me down.
Here, man.
He puts me in. Yeah, he puts me in the deepest meditations. And I'm glad I can learn from him. I'm going to my 4th training with them this year in December, so I can't wait to learn more and share more with everyone. So shout out to him. Man.
That's so cool. Well, this has been fun. Jess, one other question for you, Jessica. So now that you're here, right? You're the #1 fan of the Yogi Show. You're the #1 fan of the Yogi Show. We have to ask you a few lighten up questions. Though we have to ask you some of the lighten up round questions, just like we do any of the other amazing guests that we have on this show. I'm gonna let Brian go first because the lighten up round. Of course you do. You're Yogi Brian. Of course you have some.
I love the polls, everybody. If you're not looking at the polls on the story, like on Instagram story, well, I'm not on there right now, but whenever I do come back, you got to check out the polls. But Jess, who makes a better yoga teacher? An oven or a microwave? Because I'm just looking at my oven and microwave right now. I'm like, what a good combo.
I'm gonna go with oven.
Oven, why and why?
Slower. It's a slower cooking method.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Jess, Brian? Okay, Brian, you need to bring back this. No, ding, ding, you need the sounds. We used to do the sounds. You need to bring back the sounds.
I can do it now that I know to screen share the sounds. Like it's coming back. Next episode we record sounds.
You're still screen sharing audio. Find a bell sound, and I want to hear a bell.
I need to find that bell sound. Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding. Brian used to share the audio on the Instagrams. They were so funny. Okay, we're gonna get ready, y'all. Soon enough, we're gonna be having live soundtracks here on the Yogi Show podcast. Okay, Jess, where would you rather practice a yoga class? Would it be on Jupiter or Venus?
Oh my gosh, that's a hard one. Jupiter.
The rings. It's the rings.
It's the rings. Yeah, Venus is supposed to be pretty damn hot. So I moved to Wisconsin
Venus
to
is like
escape the
super
hot.
hot.
So
Yeah, Jessica's escaping the hot in Wisconsin, so there's no heat for her. So good. Brian's looking for music right now, so I'll go again. Unless you got one, Brian. Go ahead.
Who leads a better yoga retreat? A kitchen sink or a shower?
shower.
And why?
Yeah.
Why a shower?
Well, whatever you do in the kitchen sink, you can do in the shower, but you certainly can't take a shower in the kitchen sink. So it's a little more wide-ranging yoga retreat.
She has the best answers.
Yeah, we're getting you on another show, and we're just gonna do random polls the whole time, and I'll have my sound, and everything ready.
The soundboard will be ready.
Yeah, this will be a new thing, and that's why everybody else out there, you got to come to our next class because you might be on the show too.
Yeah,
Jess is going to be on the next one when we do a poll. I've decided. Sure. I mean, are you cool with that, Pedro?
Yeah, I'm down. We're having more polls for sure. Yeah. So fun. Well, thank you for being here, Jess. Thank you for Brian for the amazing meditation, for being part of this wonderful experience that we've had today. And thank you for all of your support out there, listening to the show, tuning in, being a fan. And Jessica, you're the #1 fan. We appreciate you. And I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. This has been so fun.
I had a great time.
Yeah. Thank you for being part of it. Thank you for being amazing.
Yeah, thank you, Jess.
Really appreciate it. And signing off, friends. Until next time. Peace. Namaste.
Peace.
Namaste.